Hi everybody, Kelvin here from London. This is Stereo Review X, my channel where I review, compare, contrast vintage stereo equipment, mostly, sometimes new equipment. It's all about finding the best sound per pound, finding things that sound good and within that matching things up, and that's kind of how you make things really sound good, by what goes with what. But I'm trying to give you as much information as I can about how things sound. Okay, so going to do a review today and a comparison. These three CD players, I'll go into the details in a sec and we'll do the sound in detail. But let me just talk just generally. I'm like the CD, I'm big on the CD. I like it. I prefer the physicality, the lack of interacting with screens and buttons and selections. I like to get the thing, put it in, press play, sit down. That's what I like. I mean, I do have Spotify, which I use like sometimes when I want one of their compilation things. I want it to go on for hours. It's good, but I'm big on the CD, and people are just abandoning their CD collections these days, and I kind of wonder if they're going to regret it. I mean, lots of people regretted getting rid of their vinyl collections, and vinyl is a much more sort of labor intensive or tricky format compared to CD. So anyway, I like the CD. I think it's good. Also worth talking about really is how different to CD players sound, and how much money is it worth spending on a CD player. Well, I'll touch on that briefly here, because I would say the CD player is probably something that is most attached to the law of diminishing returns curve. So you could spend a ton of money. Let's say you spend £500 on a second-hand CD player, should be pretty good. Spent £2,000. I mean, I don't know, but I'm going to doubt it. I'm going to doubt it's going to be significantly better. It's probably just going to be, once you get into that world, expensive stuff, it's probably just going to be different, Same way as, a lot of cables, they're just different, They just emphasize, de-emphasize, do different things. It's kind of more about preferences. I mean, I'm talking once you've got into a sort of high-end thing, So, for me, only speaking for myself, if I was to buy a second-hand CD player, I might spend £200 or £300. That's what I would do. But I wouldn't consider it worth spending, £1,500 on a CD player, because it's the difference between a £500 pair of speakers and a £1,500 pair of speakers is probably a lot more significant. So that's just a general thing about CD players. Now, these CD players do sound different, and we'll get into that. We'll do that right now. I'll just do this kind of functionality thing with these, I'll do the prices also. Arcam Alpha from 1994. You get hold of one of these for about 100 English pounds. That's about 130 US dollars. NAD 501 from 1995. You get hold of one of those for about 50 English pounds, So that's about 70 US dollars. And there's Cambridge Azure CD10. Now this is from 2010. That's 15 years later than both of these. So we'll see what's happened, if anything significant has happened. Because if you read the information, there's always great advances taking place. It's always like a new transport, oversight, God knows what, But that's, that's marketing, to be mostly, Sorry, you'll get one of those for about 40 or £50. Cambridge Topaz CD10. Okay. And one point worth noting, the NAD doesn't have an optical out. Yeah, both the other two have optical outs. And I kind of prefer this one myself for its functionality, because, you know, just big buttons to press, you know, you press it, you know you've pressed it. With this Cambridge, you're probably going to press it and look, you know, and it's all getting a little bit small, you know. Maybe I'm getting a bit old, but you know, this is simpler, yeah. And this is kind of in between the two, I would say. But you know, they all work, you know. So anyway, okay. Sound-wise, now I did what I used to do or usually do. I played a bunch of songs, and I played the songs all on each one, and you know, listened to it in detail. So let's start with, I did a song called Guns of Brixton by The Clash. I'll just tell you a funny thing about that song. If you know that song, it's just boom, 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 boom. If you listen to that song on your headphones or even on your stereo, you hear these, it's funny, sort of like, it sounds like a crisp wrapper getting squashed either side, on the, you know, left and right. Funny noise, you know, not a musical noise. And I know, because the bass player talked about it, it's actually the sound of someone pulling Velcro, yeah? And someone nicked that song, or the bass line, from The Clash, because it still had this funny noise on it. And I'm pretty sure this is true. And, you know, I landed up in court saying, "You've nicked my bass line." I said, "Well, no, we just came across it." And they said, "Well, what, you got this Velcro on it too?" You know, that happened to happen. You happened to put some Velcro noises on your record. So anyway, just a bit of trivia there. But anyway, Guns of Brixton, The Clash. Obviously a lot of bass. Okay, I'll go through it like this. The NAD, good bass weight, good space, yeah? Good bit of space, fair bit of weight, yeah? This NAD is kind of, it's probably the most sort of, it's got a sort of silkiness about it, yeah? The Cambridge, more silent space. I mean, like that black void where there's no sounds occurring. Some people, I think, like this, or, you know, they talk about it like it's a good thing. I like the air to be alive, because it was, you know, because the microphone will pick up the space it's in. But okay, more silent space, more black velvet I put here. Talking about the Cambridge, pokey bass, not so deep, all a little, there's just an overall sort of slight, I don't know, compression, I might use the word compression, or just lack of air, let's say, on this Cambridge. Okay, that was Guns of Brixton. Then I did a song, Blondie song, on Parallel Lines, I Know But I Don't Know, yeah? It's a kind of rocky song, you know, it's got a lot of nice drumming on it. Go with the NAD. Okay, sorry, I'll go with the Cambridge, because I'm going to bring up a little idea here. So, this Cambridge, it's similar to the Arcam in its level of detail on this song, but it's like this Cambridge is in a deader acoustic room. I mean by that, imagine the band playing in a room, yeah? And that room is got carpet all over it, yeah? That's what the Cambridge does, yeah? And imagine that room, someone's taken all the carpet out, and it's got wooden floorboards now, or, you know, stone or something like that. That is more like the Arcam and the NAD. They've just got more space, more echo, more, just, you know, more, it's kind of, you could call it vibrancy and life, yeah? The NAD on that song, I put similar acoustic room to the Arcam, but possibly less detail, yeah? So I would say this NAD, even though it has a sort of a slightly stylized and silky sound, which is nice, it has probably the least amount of fine detail coming out of it. And when I was on the Arcam, I thought it just sounded right to me. Yeah, it didn't alert me to anything right, particularly exaggerated or particularly wrong. Just sounded right. And well, yeah, Arcam, the best articulated and solid bass. Yeah, the Cambridge is a little bit softish in the bass. Yeah, you can kind of hear the notes getting plucked and the different, but somehow or other it doesn't go down. It doesn't sort of vary as much as you'd like and as much as that Arcam does. And I'd put the NAD somewhere in the middle. Yeah. What else I put here on the NAD? I'm aware that I'm listening to a digital creation. Yeah, and it's a nice digital creation. It's, when I say digital, I don't mean it's harsh or you know edgy or nasty, but there's something just a tiny bit stylized about this NAD. Yeah, it's just like you just kind of become aware. It's like it's been put through a machine and someone's tweaked everything to sort of give it a certain silky sound. Just actually not super authentic, you know. It's not bad, you know. But anyway, the last song I did was Young Americans, David Bowie, if you know that song. That's a very spacious song, a lot of space in that. And so interestingly, the Cambridge, with its kind of lack of space and air, it couldn't destroy the space and air in that song. The space and air was still there. And it kind of worked out quite nice for the Cambridge, because that song was almost like an antidote to what that does. Yes, I also put bass was a little bit slow. Bass is a little bit ploddy. You're just kind of aware, you know, you just feel like the bass is a bit slow and a little bit fat. You know, and that's the one from 2010. So, you know, I mean, none of these are super expensive when they were bought. The Arcam is probably the most expensive one to... This was probably not cheap, this Cambridge. But, you know, it doesn't seem like there was no, you know, it doesn't seem like improvements have happened, you know. Young Americans on the NAD. Good bongos on the right. Bigger space, yeah. I've got a load of space. It's kind of spacious and it's getting a load of, and it's spacious itself. Maybe even getting too spacious and lively, yeah. Then last thing, when I put that Young Americans on the Arcam, doing all these comparisons, this was the conclusive moment for me. It was just immediately the best. Was just immediately doing that song. I wasn't thinking about space or not enough space. The song was there, and I've got great voice, articulated and in good focus. David Bowie's voice nicely in the middle, and I can, like, you know, hear every little detail of this singing. I was just tuned into his singing there, and I put here, I'm happy. I was happy listening to that Arcam. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to review a streamer soon, and I'm going to compare that streamer to the CD sound, you know. Anyway, that's it for now. Like and subscribe, please, and loads of other videos, comparisons and stuff on my channel. Okay, thanks. Bye for now.